Before you spend $2,000, $3,000, or $4,000 or more on your next camera, I want you to ask yourself two simple questions. Not does it have a stack sensor, not does it shoot 8K, and definitely not what camera is everybody on YouTube talking about right now. Because I think photographers and filmmakers sometimes get so caught up in specs and reviews and rumors and new camera hype that we forgot the most important question. Why do I actually need this camera? I think your answer should come down to two things. Let's talk about it. For me, this is the most important question. What can this new camera do that your current camera is preventing you from doing? And I don't mean something that's simply better. I mean something that actually affects your ability to create. Maybe you're photographing sports, wildlife, weddings, or events, and you're constantly losing shots because your autofocus system can't keep up. Okay, better autofocus and subject detection might legitimately change what you're capable of capturing. Maybe you're shooting video and your current camera doesn't have the tracking performance you need when you're working by yourself. Maybe you need internal RAW recording. Maybe you need 10-bit. Maybe you need a specific video codec because your current files are creating problems in your post-production workflow. Maybe you need better low light performance, higher resolution, faster burst rates, better stabilization, more dynamic range, better battery life, or maybe you're constantly overheating during long-form video production. Those are problems, and if another camera solves one of those problems, now we have a legitimate reason to consider upgrading. But here's where things get interesting. If your current camera already does everything you need it to do, what exactly are you upgrading? Because there's a big difference between this camera will allow me to do something I currently can't do, and this camera has better specs than the one I have now. Those aren't the same thing. This is where I think a lot of us get caught up. A new camera comes out, you watch the announcement, you see all the new videos on YouTube, then you watch all the reviews, then the comparisons start showing up. Camera A versus camera B. Should you upgrade? Is your camera obsolete? And then suddenly a camera that you were perfectly happy with 3 weeks ago doesn't seem as good enough anymore. Nothing about the camera itself changed. Your perception of it, yes, that may have changed. And that's something photographers have to be careful about. There's always going to be another great camera, at least what they're telling you. There's always going to be another sensor, another autofocus improvement, another processor, another video codec, another stop of dynamic range that you suddenly need all of a sudden. If you constantly chase the newest specs, you're never going to reach the finish line. So instead of asking, is this new camera better than mine? Ask, is it better at something that actually matters to me? That's a completely different purchasing decision perspective. Here's my second question, and I think this one gets overlooked. Will this camera make you excited to create? Because not every camera purchase has to be a business decision. Photography is supposed to be fun. For a lot of us, that's why we started doing this in the first place. You picked up a camera because there was something exciting about capturing a moment through your eyes, really. Experimenting with light, trying a different lens, walking around the city looking for photographs or an opportunity or anything to shoot. Creating something that just because you wanted to see if you could. And when photography becomes your profession, it's really easy to get lost in all of that. I can write a book on that. You've got clients and deadlines and deliverables and invoices, editing, emails, social media, and bills to pay. Suddenly the camera becomes another tool you pick up because you have to. And if photography is never fun anymore, well, eventually it starts feeling like a job. And that kind of job where you can't wait to put everything down at the end of the day. I don't want that for you or for me. This is why I think there's another completely valid reason to buy a camera or a lens. It inspires you. Maybe it's not technically better than what you already have. Maybe it doesn't have the best autofocus. Maybe it doesn't have the most megapixels. Maybe there's absolutely no way you could justify it on a spreadsheet. But every time you see that camera, you want to go outside and take some pictures. That's value, my friend. Maybe it's a small rangefinder style camera that you can throw in a bag. Maybe it's a fixed lens camera that forces you to approach photography completely differently. Maybe it's an old DSLR. It could be a film camera. Maybe it's a weird manual focus lens that has absolutely no business being in your bag, but you love the images it creates. If that piece of equipment makes you want to create more, I think that's more than enough reason to pick it up. Because the best camera isn't always the camera with the best specs. Sometimes it's simply the camera you can't wait to pick up. So here's a test I think photographers should use before buying their next camera. Ask yourself, number one, does this camera solve a real problem that is limiting what I can create? And number two, does this camera make me excited to go out and create something? If the answer to both is yes, that's probably a pretty compelling reason to upgrade. If the answer to the first one is yes, but the second is no, maybe it's simply a professional tool that you need to do your job better. And there's nothing wrong with that either. If the first answer is no, but the second is a huge yes, well, that's okay? You don't always need a justifiable reason to find that creativity is a good return. But if the answer is to both questions a no, you probably don't need that camera. You might just be suffering from gas, okay? And trust me, manufacturers are very good at and happy when you suffer from that syndrome. So before clicking that pre-order button, try something. Take the camera you already own and go out with it and shoot something, okay? Not for a client, not even for YouTube, not because somebody is paying you. Take one lens, go somewhere and photograph something, record a little something purely because you want to. Then ask yourself, what actually stopped me from creating the photograph or video I wanted to make? If you can identify something specific that your equipment cannot do, you've discovered what you should actually be looking for in your next camera or lens purchase. But you might discover something else. Maybe your camera wasn't the limitation at all. Maybe you just needed a good reason to get out, create, and practice some more. Camera technology in 2026 is incredible. We're at a point where even cameras that are several years old are capable of producing absolutely amazing photographs and professional quality video for very good affordable prices. So don't upgrade just because somebody tells you your camera is old. Don't upgrade because a spec sheet says something newer is technically better. And don't upgrade because your favorite creator just switched systems. Buy the camera that solves your problem, or buy the camera that makes you excited about creating more stuff. Because ultimately, cameras are tools. But photography is the experience, and I'd rather own a camera that makes me want to create than a camera with an incredible spec sheet that spends its life sitting on my beautiful shelf. And if you enjoyed conversations like this about photography, filmmaking, camera gear, and all that good stuff, make sure you subscribe to my channel, smash the like to this video, and one of the best ways to support this channel is by becoming a member. I'm Robert Silver, and until next time, keep shooting and stay creative.